Sabastian, you can get this. History in the making. Under 2 hours. Nobody's ever done this. They said it couldn't be done. Sebastian Sawe is going to break the 2-hour mark. He's going to win the London Marathon in incredible style. An historic performance, 1:59.30.
If you hadn't heard, Sabastian Sawe obliterated the world record for the marathon today in the London Marathon. He ran it in 1 minute 59:30, which is not only incredible in itself, but if you look at the splits, he ran the second half of the marathon a minute faster than the first half of it. Some of that can be attributed to new technology. The shoes are probably better than they've ever been. The clothes lighter than they've ever been. But it's also an athletic specimen that is at the top of his game. But one thing we have to remember is that he wasn't the first guy to run a sub 2-hour marathon. It was the king himself that did it first.
The crowd getting right behind him. Goodness me, 300 meters to go. He can see the finish line here. Neil Armstrong we had on the moon in 1969. We had Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile 65 years ago. Edmund Hillary, the first man to climb Everest in 1953. We have 1 minute to go. Eliud Kipchoge is on his way here. This humble farmer who used to run 2 miles to school every day and back. He used to go to the nearest town on his bike to sell milk at the local market. And now, through hard work and discipline, he's pointing. Come on, he says. Eliud Kipchoge has the hand of history on his shoulder. He has less than 200 meters to go. Eliud Kipchoge, let's keep an eye on the clock, into the final 20 seconds. Eliud Kipchoge. Whoa! On his shoulder, 140, the unofficial time.
There's his wife.
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books in Vienna. 1:59.40, the unofficial time. The first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours.
I don't think it's a stretch to say that Eliud Kipchoge is the GOAT of long distance running. His resume is beyond impressive. But if you find yourself in a room with a commoner, someone who doesn't really take a lot of interest in things outside of the normal things that they do, and you start talking about the greatness of Eliud Kipchoge, and they look at you with squinted eyes saying, I don't know who that is. I only know about people who matter. Does that cast a light of ignorance on you or that person who doesn't care about things outside of their normal purview? This is a good example of what it looks like when common people try to mimic greatness without putting in the work that it takes to get there. A man that's won the Berlin and London Olympics 4 different times and across a span of 7 years. A man that's one of only 3 men to defend the gold medal in the marathon. If you're going to try and run as fast as him, you're going to have to do it at a very fast pace, which most people, as a matter of fact, pretty much only him and 3 or 4 other people can really mimic. But it's very easy in the age of the internet and social media to get on the internet and say, I don't know who that is. He ain't nobody. It's a whole different thing when you see that number in the history books and you're trying to see if you can be as great as he actually is.
The Kipchoge Challenge. See how long you can hold world record marathon runner Eliud Kipchoge's average marathon pace. What's the speed? 21 kilometers per hour for 42 kilometers. So initially it felt okay, but just at the start for the first 10 seconds, and then it felt very, very fast. I ended up being able to hold for 50 seconds before I could not do anymore. He held that pace for 2 hours straight, which is actually crazy.
Thomas is hurt down on the court underneath the basket. I couldn't tell what happened.
And this is a tough one. Holding his right ankle, Billy. Mike Abdenauer, the trainer, is with him, and the Pistons are going to have to call a timeout because Isaiah started to get up. He got up and then went down on the floor. Home and away story. AC has averaged 13 rebounds at home and only 8 at the Silverdome. So they like the home cooking, although the home team hasn't won every game there. 8-point lead for the Lakers, 74-66. 3.5 remaining in this period. Thomas with a looper scores. Isaiah's shooting eye still on.
Isaiah beating Worthy, going up with that floating one-hander.
Lakers, their biggest lead has been 8. They've matched it a couple of times. Thomas off balance. Basket counts and a foul as he goes into the first row, and he is still limping. He is a game performer.
Any longtime viewer of my channel understands that I have a soft spot in my heart for Isaiah Thomas. He's one of the toughest son of a guns I've ever seen, and his mental toughness is what makes me admire him so much. From the time that I saw this performance until very recently, I thought that his Game 6 in the 1988 finals, scoring 25 points in a quarter to set the finals record for points scored in a quarter, was the best sports achievement I had ever seen. I was in awe of it. And until very recently, I held that opinion. And one of the reasons why I forgive Isaiah Thomas for choosing LeBron over Michael Jordan, which I think he's wrong in that way, is that maybe he still holds that grudge against Michael Jordan. But when it counted, when it mattered, his play spoke for itself, and it was what he did, not who he was, that made history and makes Isaiah Thomas a special player in the annals of the NBA history books.
Thomas goes for three and hits it. What a third quarter for Isaiah Thomas. The Lakers, now the Pistons with Rodman. 2-on-1, Thomas goes up. And Isaiah Thomas having an incredible period. He has been a one-man gang. 23 points. And the shot is good by Thomas.
Anytime you have a conversation across sports about the best sports performance you've ever seen, it gets really difficult, because how do you quantify how good Barry Sanders was when he's rushing for 2,000 yards, or when you're watching Tiger decimate the field at the Masters and just making golf look so easy that when you pick up golf clubs and try and play the sport, you just shake your head at how good he was for how long he was. Or watching the undersized Allen Iverson go against Shaq and Kobe, and of course he couldn't win the series, but he did win that one game, and it made it look so easy that we were in awe. And of course, one of the reasons why baseball is my new favorite sport to watch is because we're watching the Michael Jordan of baseball's OhTani Shohei hit 3 home runs and pitch 6 scoreless innings in one game. Incredible. And then there's the World Series performance of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, when Dave Roberts called for him to pitch the day after he had just pitched. And the expression of Roki Sasaki, like, are you serious? It's one of the things that makes sports so amazing. One might wonder why I'm randomly speaking about all-time great sports performances in Eliud Kipchoge on this particular video. And to that, I would answer that in 2016, the team that had broken the record for most wins in the regular season found themselves down 3-2 on the road playing against this team. And if you don't recognize basketball players, that's Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Yes, they were actually on the same team in their prime, with a chance to close out the team that had broken the record for most wins in a regular season at home. And there was only one person that's the reason why they couldn't do it. And no, it was not Steph Curry.
Doesn't have that rhythm, the ball handling, the shooting. You see that it seems like he just is not comfortable.
Thompson, yes, another three for Klay Thompson with the rebound. Curry on the move, met by Durant, and he pulls it back. Thompson wide open for three. Klay Thompson shooting them back into it. From beyond that three-point line, here is Thompson, has been on fire, and he hits again. Klay Thompson, his 5th three-pointer.
Better when the ball slows down. Mark.
All right, here is Thompson again. Klay Thompson has given the Warriors a 1-point lead. 8-point lead for the Thunder. Here's Thompson, who just checked back in and knocks down a three. Iguodala. Thompson, a rainbow three. Klay Thompson with his 8th three-pointer. Bogut keeping it alive for the new possession. Thompson turning and shooting. What a shot by Klay Thompson. And he is now defending Curry. Thompson off the drive. Klay Thompson. 2 2012. Westbrook stumbling, lost it. Again, it is Iguodala. Thompson fires for three. Yes!
Anyone with any recollection of this game would know that for the entire duration of the game, the Warriors were losing. There were times where they were down by double digits, and essentially the only glimmer of hope that they had was this man right here, Game 6 Klay. And that's why he's named that, because what he did in this game, hitting 11 threes on the road to save a team that was trying to make history from being a laughingstock, was him showing up in the most important game of the season, in the most important time of the season, and just making history. And that history will never change, no matter what a group of young ladies think about his dating choices some decade later. One of the unfortunate things about this modern world that we live in is that there's more noise than there's ever been before. And so sometimes that noise can sound in chorus to make people think that, oh, someone who was a very important person or did something that was amazing some 5-10 years ago, or some part of the world that you've never heard of, isn't really that big of a deal, because so many people are saying that that person is not important anymore. But those people that are on the internet saying those things are not the people that were doing the work that it took to be great in that moment. It can get lost on people how hard it is to be great for a moment, what it takes to prepare for that moment. But what we have to understand in this modern world is that there are 10 people for every one that is going to not do the work and sit on the internet and point fingers at someone that they don't like, or someone that they're jealous of, or someone that they generally want to see do poorly, to that one person that's quietly doing the work. Unfortunately, those noises are very loud these days, but anyone saying that Klay Thompson or anyone as great of a performer as he has proven himself to be is nobody, is pretty much saying that they're nobody themselves. And so in this very loud world that we're in, where so many people are so apt and ready to say that this person who has performed at the highest of the highest levels in the sport that requires you to be in the best shape outside of soccer to perform at that high level, simply calling him a nobody is an indictment on the fact that they themselves are nobody. A good portion of life, especially for men, is getting ready for your Game 6, when nobody's there to help you up and nobody has your back and you have to perform. It's interesting how after that Game 6, all of the girls are going to come and want to get to know you. But before that Game 6, you're in that well by yourself. Something that many of us already understand. And it's why it's comical to see so many people saying that one of the highest performers in the history of sports is a nobody. I beg to differ, ma'am. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.